Now to our analysts on how each candidate performed in this last debate before Super Tuesday. Joining us now from Petaluma is political analyst Brian Sobel. And in our newsroom, James Taylor, a professor of politics at the University of San Francisco.
So thank you both for joining us. James, first to you. Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, as we just saw, they really went after Donald Trump tonight. Do you think they were effective, and if so, how?
They were extremely effective in sort of scandalizing Trump in terms of his appeal to working class, especially white working class individuals, to sort of show the way in which Trump University apparently has exploited a good deal of people, causing each individual about $40,000 worth of debt, being found complicit in taking these people's money, about $350,000, to sort of show that Trump is not inevitable and invincible as a businessman in terms of the scandal around this is, I think, very powerful. So I think Rubio did a very effective job, and so did Ted Cruz, in sort of bringing Trump off of his pedestal a little bit in very, I think, important ways that going forward, if they continue to sustain these attacks against Trump, he's going to suffer, I think, significantly.
Brian, Rubio, Cruz did a good job, but who came out on top, in your opinion, tonight? Who helped himself the most?
Well, Julie, I think Marco Rubio probably came out on top, but what's occurring here is that the core support for Donald Trump is probably not going away. And so the arguments between Cruz and Rubio, and they're pointing their arguments at Trump, you know, the jury's out as to who actually benefits from that. But it's now becoming a math game, really, at the end of the day. Somehow, some way, for Rubio or for Cruz to emerge, some people have to leave the race, and numbers have to change fairly drastically.
Brian, if Ted Cruz loses Texas, and right now it is a very close, according to the polls, very close race between Cruz and Donald Trump, what would that mean for Cruz? And then I believe on March 15th is when the Florida primary is. If Marco Rubio loses that to Donald Trump, and right now in the polls he's way behind, what would that mean for Marco Rubio?
Well, first of all, Frank, it would not bode well for either one, obviously, to lose their home states. But Tuesday is very, very important anyway for Republicans, because nearly 600 delegate votes are at stake on Tuesday, and you only need 1,236 to win the nomination. So it is a big, big night on Tuesday, and that will portend what is starting to roll out after Super Tuesday.
James, one more question to you. What do you see as Donald Trump's greatest vulnerability? Do you think it's a lack of substance, a lack of detail, or what do you see?
I think it's a lack of substance in terms of governance. Donald Trump is running an entertainment campaign, which is really interesting in terms of campaigns and elections. But in terms of establishing governing policies and how he would administer the American government, I think he has not given anything beyond some hint about his tax policies. I think he's also vulnerable on this issue that came out tonight on these undocumented workers. The irony, and it's almost comical, that they were Polish workers back in the East and in the 90s building Donald Trump's towers at $50 a day. And this is, again, these are the kind of nuts and bolts kitchen table issues that ordinary people can relate to, and it will create a chasm between these enthusiastic voters who are regular folk, or working class people, and Donald Trump. So to be seen as not caring for the common person is the last thing Donald Trump can afford to do at this time.
Well, we'll find out.
The Republican, I was going to say, the Republican dilemma, however, is that if you have two second-tier candidates, that is, two people in second place, who have 20 or 25% of the vote, if you add those together, they beat Trump. But as long as you can't move one or the other out of the race, Trump can keep sliding through this thing.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll find out a lot next Tuesday. Gentlemen, we thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thank you.